Welcome back. In this video, we'll be calculating for the depreciation of an asset in C++. As usual, the algorithm first and then the code. So, let's simplify. There are a number of methods that are used for calculating the depreciation of an asset. One commonly used method is the sum of the year's digits. For example, consider equipment of value 50 million cedis required to be depreciated over 5 years. We first calculate the sum of the year's digits by adding 1 to 3 to 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 and 5. Thus, the sum of the years they get is 15. For the first year, the amount of depreciation is 5 over 15 times 50 million. That is 5 million. The second year will be 4 over 15 times 5 million, which is 4 million. The third year will be 3 over 15 times 50 million, which is 3 million, and so forth. You are required to devise a computer solution to accept the value of an asset and the number of years of depreciation as inputs and output the year, the amount of depreciation starting with year 1 up to the year required, and the balance outstanding at the end of each year under appropriate headings. So the algorithm, we have to take the value of the assets from the user. So we say input assets. And we have to take the number of years also. So we say input years. Then from the question, the years, we first calculate the sum of the years. So we have to calculate the sum of the years. So given the years, and we know the arithmetic progression formula, which is n over 2 multiplying 2a plus n minus 1 times d. We know a to be the first term and d to be the common difference. So a in this case is 1 and d is also 1. When I simplify, I'm going to get n times n plus 1 all on 2. So in this case, n is going to be years. So I know that the sum of the years is going to be sum equals years times years plus 1 all on 2. This is going to give me the sum of the years digits. Alright, so now I'm going to print the table to output or to display. So I'll say years, amount of depreciation, and then the balance outstanding. So these are 3 columns, one for the years, one for amount of depreciation, and another column for balance outstanding. Then I set the amount depreciated to 0. So I created an empty variable called amount depreciated. So this amount depreciated is going to store the amount that will be depreciated over the years. Then I also set I to 1. As we go along, we will know why I is 1. Now I say while the years is greater than 0, we know from the question that the years keep decreasing. The first year we had 5, second year it decreased to 4, third year it decreased to 3. So there's going to be a time where the number of years is going to be 0 if it keeps decreasing. So we say while it is greater than 0, that means while it is between the number the user will input and 1, the amount depreciated from the question, we know that it is the years divided by the sum of the years they get times the assets. You can see 5 over 15 times 15 million. So the years divided by the sum times the assets. So I'll say the amount depreciated plus equals the years divided by the sum of the digits times the assets. Then I'll say the balance outstanding equals asset minus amount depreciated. What this means is that anytime an amount depreciates, we take that amount that got depreciated from the original asset. That will give us the remaining value of the asset, which is the balance outstanding. So anytime there is a depreciation, we take depreciation from the original asset. When we take it out, we get the remaining of the asset that has not depreciated. So the reason why I use plus equals years divided by sum times assets is that the depreciation is going to happen every year and it's going to be cumulative. So we want to be adding them up. And anytime and every year that there is a depreciation, we will take it from the assets to get the remaining that has not depreciated yet until there is no longer any asset. So until all the assets gets depreciated. So the balance outstanding at the end of the last year will be 0 because by the end of that year, the amount had depreciated totally. Now I print the value. So I say print I amount depreciated and balance outstanding. And then next line. What this means is that the I, remember I set it to 1. So the I is going to be under years column, remember. The amount depreciated is going to be under the amount of depreciation column. And the B outstanding will be under the balance outstanding column. Then I say move to the next line. Then on the next line, I say decrease year by 1. Then increase I by 1. Remember that the years keep decreasing from 5 to 4 to 3. So at the end of each loop, I'll decrease the year by 1. Then because I is under the years column and I started from 1, anytime I decrease the year by 1, it means that I am moving to the next year. So I'll increase I to by 1. So that when I move to the next year, I will become 2. When I move to the other year, I will become 3 until years become 0 and I end my while. So as you run this loop, as you run this code, you will understand it more clearer. Let's convert to C++ code. So I set my double values, my double variables, then my int variables, and I set I to be 1. Then I take the inputs, that is the asset in the years from the user. Then I set the equation for the sum of the years digits. Then I create a table for the year column, the amount of depreciation column, and then the balance outstanding column. The backlash T is tab, and then the backlash N means next line. Then I say while the years is greater than 0, the amount depreciation plus equals the years divided by the sum times the assets. So at the end of this while loop, we are going to have the balance outstanding to be 0, and then the number of years to be 1. That is the number of years, yeah, to be 1, because we have run from the actual number the user is going to enter until it becomes 1. That is the last year. So I end the code with system box is greater than 0 and then return 0. So let's run the code. Let me input some values for assets in the years and see how it actually works. So enter the value of the asset. I entered 15 from the question as usual, and then enter the number of years of depreciation. I entered 5. Now on pressing enter, it prints out the years. So the first year, the amount that was depreciated was 5, and the balance outstanding, the remaining of the asset was 10 million. Then in the second year, 9 got depreciated. The remaining was 6. Third year, 12 got depreciated. The remaining was 3. Fourth year, 14 got depreciated. The remaining was 1. And by the fifth year, everything had depreciated and the amount that was left or the balance outstanding was 0. Alright friends, that's it for this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave your questions in the comment section. Let's make use of it. And see you in the next video. Till then, Apatia.